Hi, my name is Will Poulter, and I play Andrew, Anthony, and Abraham in Little Hope. So this is my first time doing a entire project using motion capture. And although I'd done things with elements of motion capture or things that were similar because of the CGI elements, this was kind of my first time doing true sort of motion capture performance. And I think the biggest and most notable difference is the pace you move at. You move at an incredibly fast pace, and you get through a lot more material than you would in a sort of in the same amount of time on a sort of film or television project. So the pace was the most notable difference, and that's actually something that I really enjoyed about it. I loved the challenge of that, of moving as quickly as we did. Well, I think the slightly limiting thing about film, or most films that exist in the horror genre, or any genre for that matter, is that the character's outcome is sort of predetermined, and your destiny is already kind of written out for you. The nice thing about video games is that that decision lies in the hands of the gamer and can change moment to moment multiple times. Once a film is made, edited together and released, it exists in that format and pretty much that format alone. But of course you can go back and sort of rewrite history, as it were, with gaming, and it's exciting to have the kind of future of your character being determined by gamers, and multiple characters at that. Yeah, do you know what? I suppose it did. I mean, in both instances, I relied heavily on the directors, David Slade in the case of Bandersnatch, and Nick Bowen in the case of our game Little Hope. Just because they had a sort of better idea of all the different branching narratives, and were able to wrap their head around it a little easier than I was. So I had to lean on my directors pretty heavily. But the difficulty, I think, with Bandersnatch is that we shot it out of continuity, which is often the case with TV and film projects. So it made it a lot harder to sort of hold on to all the different narrative strands and make sense of it. With Little Hope, by and large, we were able to shoot kind of chronologically, and that made it somewhat easier. There was a little bit of jumping around, and there's actually one occasion where two of the characters I'm responsible for talk to each other, which was one of the tougher things I've had to do, but really fun all the same. One thing I realized in the shooting of Little Hope and the making of it was just how teamwork really does, help you in a survival scenario. And I think that's one of the great things about this, multiplayer game, is that, you can work as a team in order to survive. And one thing I do know is playing alone, or trying to survive Little Hope alone would be a mistake in my case. I would be reliant on the other people around me, the other characters. And it was really great to see how when the characters made decisions in order to sort of work together and help each other out, it sort of ended up resulting in a kind of more positive outcome. So it would be about working with the people around you and not going alone. There's a bunch, actually, and obviously the project itself is quite horrifying, and there's some pretty scary kind of deathly scenarios, but there's also a lot of humor in the script as well, and a lot of banter between the characters. And we were really lucky to have a really kind of funny experience shooting it as well. Ellen Davis, who plays Angela in the game, is absolutely hilarious, and she had us laughing on so many occasions. And so I think any scene where we were all together and Ellen was cracking jokes, it was a really good time on set, and had a lot of fun with it. Sometimes with the more sort of emotionally intense moments, it just takes a moment of reprieve and a break from the action, just to sort of get in a certain headspace and visualize certain things and try and imagine yourself in that scenario. obviously when you're moving at a fast pace, certain things are easier than others. Other things, you know, kind of cause, I think the more complicated, emotionally intense moments cause you to kind of, you know, need to recalibrate and take a moment to imagine it. Because the characters are put in some pretty extremely terrifying circumstances. And I think one of the, you know, main goals of the game was to kind of show, you know, ordinary people under sort of immense amounts of horrifying stress. So that was really the goal for us as actors, I think, was to just sort of imagine, you know, us as ordinary people in these very intense scenarios. It's the only time I've seen my animated self killed on screen, I think. I'm trying to work out whether I've actually seen it. I've seen people attempt it, definitely, the live action version of me, but yeah, first time seeing animated me. And yeah, it's a little disturbing. I mean, the exciting thing about this game is that every character can survive until the end, but every character can die. And in that sense, it's sort of, you know, quite realistic. And that again is kind of up to the gamer and the choices that they make. But for me, even just seeing sort of, you know, any kind of digital version of myself is a little bit strange. It's weird enough seeing kind of real me, let alone video game me. I think it was when I was a kid, I went to go and see a musical, went to go and see Cats live. And it was the first time that I'd ever experienced any kind of immersive theatre where the characters came off the stage, and it completely blew my mind. I think at that age, I was sort of a believer in the fourth wall without even really knowing what that was, but that, you know, that was something else. And then reality was over here in the stalls where we were watching it. But when the Cats came out off the stage and walked among the audience, I freaked out. It was one of the scariest experiences of my life. And I think I was only sort of 6 or 7 years old. And I remember this cat coming right up close to me, and it absolutely terrified me. And I was probably scared of cats for quite a while when I was a young kid. Maybe that's the reason I'm still more of a dog person. But cats have grown on me since. But yeah, that's the most terrified I've ever been.